Corporal Tillman put himself in the line of devastating enemy fire as he maneuvered his fire team to a cover position from which they could effectively employ their weapons on known enemy positions. While mortally wounded, his audacious leadership and courageous example under fire inspired his men to fight with great risk to their own personal safety, resulting in the enemy's withdrawal and his platoon's safe passage from the ambush kill zone. Corporal Tillman's personal courage, tactical expertise, and professional competence directly contributed to his platoon's overall success and survival. This is an excerpt from the Silver Star citation given posthumously to Corporal Pat Tillman. This was also taken from Brandon Lingel's review of Krakauer's Where Men Win Glory. Drama, danger, and heroics, a fitting end for Corporal Pat Tillman's life. A man who left the NFL, riches, a beautiful new wife, for reasons unknown to the rest of America, to everyone except his family. But instead of this amazing narrative that we have here in his Silver Star citation, Corporal Tillman unfortunately died of friendly fire, an unfortunate reality of armed combat everywhere. The military knowingly lied to the public and the Tillman family following Pat Tillman's death. Today I'm going to cover his football career, his military career, and the ensuing military cover-up. Since we're all familiar with possibly Pat Tillman, although he's from California, he's somewhat of a native son of Arizona, having attended ASU and playing football there. He was known for his bright smile, long hair, and ferocious tackles. He came from a clan of square-jawed, foul-mouthed hippies. His first year, Bruce Snyder asked him to redshirt, and he said to him, "I've got things to do with my life. You can do whatever you want with me, but in 4 years I'm gone." And that was true. Pat Tillman graduated in 3.5 years with a 3.8 GPA, a degree in marketing, and he graduated summa cum laude. He was then drafted into the NFL with the Arizona Cardinals. He was drafted in the 7th round, number 212 of 241. And within 5 years, by the time he enlisted, some sports writers viewed him as the best strong safety in the league. He was an unusual character who arrived at training camp on a bike with his sneakers dangling from his handlebars and his clothes in a Safeway bag. He participated in marathons and triathlons before every spring training camp. After 5 years in the NFL, Pat Tillman and his brother Kevin enlisted in the Army in Colorado. Pat declined all interviews and let no one know why exactly he decided to enlist. People were baffled but amazed that a man with such a promising future would give up a $1.2 million paycheck for that of $17,000 a year. Instead, Pat went into a military career. He entered the Army Ranger School, and with a 35% graduation rate, both he and his brother graduated. He served multiple tours of duty, and his last tour of duty, he was deployed to Afghanistan in the spring of 2004. 3 weeks later, Pat Tillman was dead on April 22nd, 2004. The world mourned his loss. He died of mortal wounds to the head. Initial reports said that he died defending his unit and against enemy fire. On the scene, witnesses were asked not to say anything to his family. His brother, Kevin, was in the same platoon, but did not understand what had actually happened. At the funeral, his funeral was nationally televised and was attended by top military brass, politicians, and sports figures. He was awarded the Silver Star at the funeral. The Silver Star is the 3rd highest medal that any military personnel can receive. The interesting part is that after General McChrystal signed the Silver Star citation, the day after, he sent out a memo, which is called a personal form memo in the military, to top military leaders all the way up to the White House, in which he stated that it is highly possible that Corporal Tillman was in fact killed by friendly fire. Friendly fire is a reality in all armed combat, and the truth is always the best policy. For 5 weeks, both the public and the Tillman family did not understand what exactly happened on April 22nd. But because Kevin returned to duty, in which he served out with his platoon, military leaders were concerned that the truth in fact would come out. And so it was that 6 weeks later, his family received word that in fact he had not died defending his platoon, but just defending himself against his fellow Rangers. His last words were, as he raised his arms above his head, "I'm Pat fucking Tillman." His family was given a 3-hour PowerPoint presentation. They weren't satisfied. Rangers involved in this incident were given written reprimands, which may have been appropriate. Danny Tillman, in the ensuing years, over the next 3 years, 7 military reports were written about this incident. There was a congressional hearing in which top military leaders testified, and there are multiple reports, lost reports, and unfortunately personal attacks. In the end, there was a near universal lack of recall, and no one in fact took any responsibility for this incident. Army Secretary Pete Guerin called it a perfect storm of mistakes, misjudgments, and failure of leadership. Kevin Tillman, who had just finished his tour of duty and his full enlistment, said something different at a congressional hearing. This was taken from John Krakauer's book, Where Men Win Glory. Pat and these soldiers volunteered to put their lives on the line for this country. Anything less than the truth is a betrayal of those values that soldiers have fought for, this nation has sought to uphold.